You might have wondered if everything you've known about male sexual desire is factual. Perhaps you've encountered notions like men always being in the mood or solely caring about physical appearance, only to find these don't quite match up in your own life. You may be struggling to understand your partner's needs, or even your own, or questioning why intimacy isn't unfolding as it once did or as the media often portrays. Male sexual desire is one of the most misunderstood topics, and such one-size-fits-all myths are not helpful to anyone. The truth is far more complex and, frankly, much more interesting. Understanding the science behind male sexual desire involves debunking these harmful stereotypes and diving into what really drives intimacy for men. Myth number one asserts that men are always in the mood. The associated belief is that men think about sex all the time and are always ready for it. The truth is, male desire isn't as constant or simple as we're led to believe. Consider if you've ever been so stressed, so exhausted, or so overwhelmed that intimacy was the last thing on your mind. That is something everyone experiences, but men are rarely given permission to admit it. The idea that men are always in the mood puts a lot of unnecessary pressure on them to live up to an impossible standard. Studies do show that men tend to report more frequent sexual thoughts and stronger sex drive compared to women. A meta-analysis of gender and sexuality research found that men think about sex more, fantasize more, and initiate sex more often. But this doesn't mean they're immune to the factors that can affect anyone's libido, such as stress, exhaustion, or even a lack of emotional connection. Interestingly, testosterone, often seen as the magic button for male libido, isn't as singularly powerful as people think. A study from the University of California, Santa Barbara, found that testosterone levels alone don't fully explain sexual desire, especially in men in long-term relationships. So, if you're feeling like your desire isn't where it should be, there's no need to be ashamed or hard on yourself. There's often more to it than just biology. Myth number two is that male desire is all physical. The belief here is that men only care about the physical act of sex. The truth is that emotional and psychological factors play a huge role in male sexual desire. You may have found yourself or your partner less interested in sex during times of emotional distance or tension. That is because, just like women, men's sexual desire is deeply tied to their mental and emotional state. In fact, research shows that stress, mental health, and relationship satisfaction are significant drivers of male libido. Society can make this harder. Men are often taught to suppress their emotions and prioritize strength over vulnerability. This cultural expectation can create intimacy barriers that lead to frustration, not because they don't care, but because they don't always feel emotionally safe enough to express themselves. Myth number three suggests that desire never fades in long-term relationships. The belief is that if the spark fades, it means something's wrong. The truth is that sexual desire naturally ebbs and flows in long-term relationships. Imagine you've been with your partner for years. You love each other deeply, but the honeymoon phase has passed, and sex doesn't feel as spontaneous or exciting as it used to. Research shows that while desire can decrease over time in long-term relationships, it doesn't mean the connection is gone. It just means it's evolving. For men, emotional intimacy is often a key driver of sexual desire. Building that connection through communication, acts of appreciation, or even simple gestures like holding hands can reignite the spark. Myth number four claims that men's desire is uncontrollable. The belief is that men's sexual desire is purely instinctual and hardwired. The truth is that male sexual desire is influenced by emotions, relationships, and society. Reducing male sexuality to biology alone does a huge disservice to men. Yes, hormones and physical attraction play a role, but so do emotional needs, societal pressures, and even how men perceive themselves. When men feel supported, valued, and emotionally connected, their sexual desire often thrives. And when those things are missing, it's no surprise that desire can wane. Recognizing this allows us to move past the stereotype of uncontrollable male desire Instead, focus on building healthy, fulfilling relationships. The truth about male sexual desire is not about being always in the mood or fitting into some societal fiction. It's about understanding the beautiful complexity of how emotions, biology, and relationships all play a role in our sexual desires and experiences. If you've ever felt confused, frustrated, or even ashamed about your desire or your partner's, this understanding may offer some clarity and relief.